welcome to Ancient Astrology with Sam and Verity.
Hi, my name's Sam Bakewell.
And I'm Verity Hebbs. And today is episode 15, and we'll be discussing the astrological elements or triplicities.
Yeah, otherwise known as triplicities. Yeah, so elements is when the 12 signs are grouped into 4 elements and 3 signs per group. So they are fire, air, earth, and water. And this starts, it's the start of us starting to categorize each sign. So you want to start asking yourself now if the sign is masculine or feminine, what element is it in, and what quadruplicity is it in. So this morning when I was sort of mucking around and taking notes, I looked into his balance to see if he was doing the same thing, and sure enough, there it is. So, I've been doing this since I started learning astrology, and it's just become second nature. So, it's a good thing if you can start doing it yourself, and then it becomes second nature. So anytime you look at a sign, so whether it's the ascendant or any of the points like the MC, DC, IC, so whether you're looking at those signs or whether you're looking at the Lord of the Ascendant and its sign, or whether you're looking at any of the planets with their signs, this is the way you categorize it. And it just starts the whole process of starting to analyze and itemizing, what these planets with the signs or points are doing. So let's start with masculine and feminine, because that has something to do with the elements as well. So all fire and air are masculine, and all earth and water are feminine. So they also have a meaning, and masculine signs, they can take the lead. They act and can initiate their ideas. They're creators and takers of opportunities, and they will be noticed, and they're reactive. Feminine signs, they tend to miss opportunities and can overthink, and they want approval. They're sensitive to their surroundings, and they're passive, and they are creative or artistic. So that is a very simplistic way of talking about masculine and feminine. And, as my classes have progressed, I go into that much more deeply. But just for example, I remember, do you remember when we had the radio stations would have those vehicles, and they'd give out free products, on the side of the road, and they might be at a footy stadium or shopping centre or something like that. And so being a feminine ascendant, and my 2 lords are in feminine sign, so that really came to fruition for me after I had learnt that. And I saw the van, the 96 FM van, and I was like, oh, they're just setting up, and I heard it on the radio just before, so I knew I was going to be pretty much there. But of course I'm thinking about it, overthinking, oh, what if, and then I'm going to be 10 more minutes late from home, and I missed the opportunity. I drove straight past it.
That's so funny. Do you know what's funny about that as well is because I have a masculine ascendant. When I was young, I was with some friends, and we had radio hosts approach us, 2 of them, and they're quite well known, and they were like, oh, do you want to be in a commercial? And we were like, yeah. I was like, yeah. And then they literally filmed us just going down an escalator, being like, and then that actually got on TV.
Oh, wow.
So, isn't that funny?
We're having the sun in the first house. Yeah,
and
that's
similar.
great.
That's funny, hey?
Yeah. Yep. So, I've got quite a few
happen.
stories of this procrastination and standing back, missing those opportunities, being so much feminine in my personality. So anyway, so fire is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And actually, we've got something we can share the screen with here. Okay, so fire signs. Yeah, a little bit of a visual for you. Thanks to Verity. Thank you for your digital design. Okay, so
as it's fire, it's quite.
I probably could have just left that up. I might do it for the next one. So they initiate and act on their ideas. Fire signs are quick acting, they're enthusiastic, forthright, spontaneous, passionate, energetic, courageous, and impulsive. So you being an Aries ascendant, you would have this will resonate with you.
Yeah, it's sort of like the flames, isn't it? They can burn up quickly and and be quite wild, and you don't always know where it's going to go, and it can be hot.
But I love the way they have to be doing something, you know, like watching your life too, and how active you are and how much you have on your plate, you know. You know, sometimes depending on what the Lord is, where it is, you know, where the fire sign is, you know, what planet and all that kind of stuff. So sometimes it will be that need for physical activity, and other times it may be just watching sports. It's like a doing. They need to be doing something. There's just a sign of action, and things change very quickly for those for the fire signs, or particularly Aries, you know, but for fire signs. Yeah, so Aries, they initiate their idea, you know, they're innovators and assertive, and they're quick to respond. Aries signifies strong leadership, and you know, they want to see the project being successful. I think the difficult thing probably for the Aries is that, like, take you for example, you know, I'm going to be picking on you for this Aries bit. You know, so even if you were on a project, I'd imagine that things would change very quickly, whether you did it yourself, decided yourself, or whether the situation caused for change, because that's what your life is about, change, you know. So
that does happen. Yeah. And I think yeah, making decisions quickly as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Lots of opportunities come where I have to, but I kind of enjoy it, and it kind of gives me a little thrill or something. So I like working on
because that's
being in
your
situations.
personality is, you know, to be thinking on your feet, moving, just
and usually if I get
juggling a lot of balls.
Yeah, and it's kind of like almost like a gut instinct, then even if I do start to overthink it, I usually do make that choice. That was my first reaction anyway. So it's when you trust into it,
exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's who you are. That's how your life is going to manifest for you. So Leos want recognition. So they're generally happy with the limelight, you know, so they're not going to shy away from, you know, a camera. I mean, you've got a little bit of that just by having the sun in the first house. So, you know, you didn't shy away from being on the commercial. It's like, oh, yeah, I'll do it, you know.
Those other people would not have been comfortable to do that. Yeah,
exactly.
But my first reaction was, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Leo, they're proud and they want glory, and they prefer to be in a leadership role. Leos can be generous, and they're kind, forgiving, and loyal. So they are a lovely sign. And we're not just talking about the sun in Leo here, because we're looking at, you know, even if the sun was rising was Leo, you know, depending on where the sun was, because that's the Lord. And, you know, if you've got a planet in Leo, well, then, you know, some of these qualities are going to come and be part of that, between that planet and that sign. So
like
if they're angular,
I feel like the Leo, for Aries, it's kind of like you can think of that flame, like the hot, quick heat action. With Leo, it's like, like a shine. It's like a spotlight, but they'll also be generous with that at times and shine that on other people. Leos are good at giving compliments.
They are very
good in others.
Exactly. Exactly.
Generosity was a good one. Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Okay, Sagittarius. So they've got that Jupiter personality, you know, so they want to learn things. They want they're constantly searching for the truth, and sometimes the negativity could be they just want to learn so many things, so they've got a lot of things on the go. So, you know, that could be spreading their energy to a too wide a field.
And they can be very forthright with their opinions, and like they're not afraid to speak their sort of truth.
Their truth, exactly.
Even if it's against whatever you've just said.
They
will come back at you with the opposite. Like, okay. So they're very I think strong. They have that sort of leadership as well, because they're not afraid to stand up and say.
Yeah, especially those Sag risings, you know, they normally fall in a leadership position fairly easily, you know. So, other people see that in them, you know, that they have got the leadership quality. So they love a challenge, and they want to grow, learn, and move forward in life, you know. So
it's definitely that movement with the signs, isn't it? It's like they move forward.
Let's see if I can find our air one now. Okay, so air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. I love this graphic. So they are thinkers, you know, they're curious and they're brimming with ideas. They're more about the intellect. They favour logic and the mind rather than sensitivity or emotions. And I mean, that's a bit tricky if you've got your moon in one of the in an air sign as well, you know. So your thinking is, you know, you're processing information, plus, you know, it's about the moon's about the emotion. So it can be a little bit sort of tricky, but both of us have our moon in an air sign, and we survive quite well. So we do like that conversation, you know.
Probably, I guess, maybe talking about your feelings. It's something that helps.
We do that a lot, don't we?
Yes, good to have someone to phone up and vent stuff or help you process it, speak it out loud, or writing. Sometimes I'll write my feelings out and that helps me more than just thinking about it. I need it, like express it.
You do have that's the air sign, they've got to express it. There's you know, like a lot of people would say they're social, the air sign. So I find that yes, that is the case, apart from the Aquarius. You know, Aquarius will want to socialize when they want to socialize, you know.
I feel like Aquarius is one that there's a lot of different things going around about it. Because sometimes it's like they're the sign of the people, but other times it's like, oh, they're detached. And so that's one that's a very interesting one to look at the polarity between Aquarius and Leo, and just where does Aquarius actually fit in with everything, and being air. So I guess it is that they like
they're quite intellectual. So they're
like the intellectual.
They've got a scientific kind of mind, and depending on what planet it's with, or even if you go a step below that or further, with the dispositor, you know. So if you had a let's say a planet in Aquarius, you want to look at what Saturn's doing. Is it working with that sign? So if, in other words, can it see it?
So I guess the first sign in the airs is Gemini.
And they're very different than the Aquarius. You know, they're talkative, and they you know, they need to be able to have the freedom to express what they want, what they're thinking. You know, I have a lot of friends, Gemini friends, a lot of people in my family, and they are pretty chatty. You know, everybody is like that, because my husband has, his Mercury doesn't meet his Gemini sun, you know, so he's not as chatty. He'll have his moments, but no, he's more a listener than a talker. But then I have other Gemini friends, and they're very chatty. And you've got lots of planets in Gemini, so it depends on whether Mercury can see the sign Gemini.
That makes sense. Exactly. Gemini.
And depends what it's in. I mean, if Mercury's in Taurus and you've got all these planets in Gemini, well, then Mercury's not seeing all those planets. So, you know, mistakes can be made with what you say and what you think, and you don't feel as confident. Or even if you do know what you're talking about, you might not feel so confident with what you're saying.
You're not going to be as chatty, or it's not going to be maybe flitting around saying, you know, having a conversation that goes off in different directions. It might just be more, you know, you just say your piece and then listen. I feel like Gemini have a good general knowledge of a lot of things. They like to dip their toes in a lot of different things.
Great if you've got Mercury in Gemini, you know, that's fantastic. You know, they are the general knowledge type people. They have a lot of information. We've got one lady in our class, Mercury in Gemini, and she has a lot of information rattling around, and can give us a lot of different topics you can have good discussions about.
And they enjoy that. I think they enjoy conversations and learning that way, and
So Librans, they want a balanced relationship. So Librans want a relationship, or they want a best friend. They want someone to be doing things with them. And if you're a Libran rising, well, it would still depend on what your Venus and Saturn are doing in your natal chart, but it still gives you that base. They still have that leadership quality, and they still want the relationship, because that's a sign that's rising.
So would Gemini probably be more like social butterflies? Like they might have a lot of different groups of friends or different types of friends, that Libra might want that sort of like to invest more
I find
in
that's the case. So the Libran rising will want they want their partner, they want their best friend to be doing something with them. They don't generally want to do things on their own, even though Librans are very independent, so they can do all that on their own. They just like a witness. Where the Gemini, they're much more social, and there's kind of bouncing around a lot more. I don't know whether that sort of helps. Aquarius, so they have a thirst for knowledge. Aquarius, although they're social, they say they're social, they're detached.
That's what I find interesting. And it can, like, I know someone very close to me, Aquarius, and they have lots of friends and they're very busy. They've got groups, they see lots of different people, but they do also have their alone time. And they're happy with that. That's it. And that's when they want you. They'll let you know. But otherwise they can, because they've got that Saturn base behind them. So they like that isolation. They like to be on their own. And it's good if they can allow themselves to do that when they need to. You know? And it's a sign of intelligence as well. So with air signs, I find if I know somebody's chart and they're air sign rising, let's say they're even an Aquarius rising with Saturn Aquarius, in the first house, so that makes it very simple. So I would normally buy them a puzzle or something that they can think about, or a book that they're going to be able to, fill in the words or whatever. Both my brothers are air signs. One's Gemini, one's Aquarius, and they love puzzles and board games and all that. That's their favorite. So easy thing to do. Get them some sort of game or puzzle. It's good, isn't it? If you have got that knowledge, background knowledge, you can give them something that's useful and something that they can enjoy, instead of just giving like a candle to a air sign rising. I don't think I would like that as much. No. So earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And so this is kind of instead of masculine now and moving more into the feminine. Exactly. So the earth element provides solidity and stability and persistence, and they know how to bring their undertakings to a successful conclusion. So they're calm, slow, and they can be cold, but they are resilient with an iron will. So earth is stable and it's hard to change. They can be hard to change, and because they like to be still, exercise is not a big priority. They enjoy earthly pleasures. So that's something that, if you had an earth sign rising, you would, you think about things that come from the earth. It come from the earth, exactly. And even something like sewing, because that's still a very natural way of doing something. Connecting cooking back to the roots of something, isn't it? Cooking, but gardening, gemstones. Okay, so Taurus, and the other thing with the earth signs, they do like touch as well. So if I have clients who are earth rising and they have the lords in the earth sign, I just know that they're going to come in for a hug. So Taurus wants security in life, and material possessions are important to them. They can be hoarders, and they need stability, and they love food. And Virgos, they're at service to others, represents healing and health and well-being, practical and logical. And Virgo is generally an organised sign and likes to have a checklist. I guess it's interesting how Virgo is healing, and a lot of things in nature are healing. So that's what I see the connection is, there's like herbal remedies, and there's that kind of side of nature that does heal us and help us. And exactly. Virgo has that naturally in them. That's right. The knowledge of nature. That health and well-being. Exactly. That's I've actually had never thought about it that way, but that's true. So Capricorn, they like to follow the rules. So you've got that Saturnian background there, because it's the Lord. And they like to be organised and on time. And they're pretty good at creating things, and they sort of like a kind of regulation, structure, all that tradition, all that's
all those Saturn words.
Mhm.
They have high expectations, and history is important to them.
Mm.
Okay, so let's have a look at the water.
And it's interesting how, yeah, Earth is
Water
that
sign.
feminine sign, but it's kind of like Earth, like can be movable or like an obstacle to kind of get. It's not always something that, although it grows things and is giving, it does have that sign of it where it's yeah, kind of, I don't know how to explain it. Like, yeah, there's a movable force to it. It's grounded. It's stability.
Yeah.
Just like Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can shift or grow, but it does have that.
Well, they're generally slower movers. They want to think
Yes.
about things. So, you've got to give them time to, not all of them get that. So that's what they might want, especially if their sign rising is an earth sign. So they might want to think about things, but sometimes, like our Capricorn rising lady with the Saturn in Libra and Venus conjunct that Saturn in the 10th house. I mean, she's not going to get time to think about things. She might like that, but it works well. Somehow she's given that time because it's an exalted Saturn, right? And it's high up there in the 10th house. So, she's got I mean, we haven't got to quadruplicities, but that's 2 cardinal signs. So it's quick, do, haven't got time to think. But a lot, especially Taurus, they really like to stand back and think about it. They don't want to be rushed. So like if you had a child, who was or had a lot of planets in the earth signs, or had an earth sign rising, or their lord's in the earth sign, well, then they don't want to be like, come on, we're going now. They want that, we're going in 10 minutes. So, get ready, we're going in a minute, darling, so they need that little time to process information. So yeah, it's good to have that background information. Great to raise children, knowing this information. Been great for me with my grandson. Like knowing what he wants and needs, before he kind of knows it.
It is. It's awesome.
Yeah. So water signs, we've mentioned the Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and they're fruitful signs. So that is when we do a class on children, which we probably won't do that ever on our podcast, but so it's there anyway. So it can start your mind thinking about children and water signs, but the core is emotions. So their comfort and security is important to them. They live in a world of emotions and feelings, and they can be secretive, and then they can be dreamy, and they are artistic as well.
Yeah, maybe sometimes got to be protective. If you're very emotional, you learn to be protective as well.
Yeah.
It's part of that.
Yeah.
You've got to have like a little
And that's the problem with the
something.
water signs. So, when they're hurt, they can sort of
go inwards sometimes.
Well, they can do that, or they can go outwards, and they can let you know, if you had Mars in a water sign, that they can react, but they display kindness and empathy, they're fairly generous kind of sign. Water signs are fairly generous.
Yeah, such a well and a depth of emotions. They can understand other people.
Yeah, so when they're hurt, they can be a bit unpredictable. I just like you pick up on people's feelings. So, being a Pisces rising and Jupiter in a water sign. So I've walked past people who have had teeth problems, and they say, hi, how you going, Sam? Oh my God, what's the matter with you? Are you okay? And because you just pick up on people's pain, you can see it in their eyes, I remember when I was working and I walked past the office and I go, okay, what's the matter? Because you don't miss things because you're looking at everybody's emotions and how they're feeling, Yeah. So Cancer, the importance of family and food, both of us have got our rising, one of our lords in a Cancer sign. So, family and food is really important to us.
Yeah.
And, even our podcast revolves around lunch.
Yeah, it's true.
And domestic pleasures, so keeping things tidy, and whether sometimes that can work in the reverse, things are tidy, things aren't, but, that's a domestic kind of thing going on there. Protective,
Yeah.
nurturing, emotional, and their sensitive sign.
Yeah.
Criers.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember I had on my car, I cry, with the license plate. The girls at work go, oh, it's so apt for you. Yeah. So Scorpio, trust and loyalty are important, and once the trust is lost, they're all about loyalty, and there can be no coming back sometimes from a Scorpio, Scorpio rising, or the sun sign. If you had the sun sign angular, or that would still be it's still a part, no matter where your sun is, it's still going to reflect some part of your life anyway, some part of your personality, should I say.
I think so Cancer and Scorpio can both, I feel, put on quite a strong front at times.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, you don't always get to peek into their emotional side.
Exactly.
So I think especially for Scorpios, if they trust you, then
That's
they'll
right.
let you in.
Yeah.
And I have a friend with Scorpio, and she's just always laughing, cracking jokes. You wouldn't know there's anything wrong with her unless she tells you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know her very well, you can pick up on it. Yeah. But otherwise you would just think, oh, what a happy, cheery, making everybody laugh around her. Yeah. Very strong.
Yeah, they are. But they will only confide in one or two people normally, and even with those people, you're not going to know everything about that the Scorpio traits, about that person. Like if it was Mars in Scorpio, well then it's going to be very different. Mars is in rulership, and they're people that can do a jump to, that is a courageous kind of sign planet, so but it's still got the emotional side to it, being in the water element as well.
Yep, I agree with that, definitely. And I think she does have Mars and Scorpio as well. And she
that's nice.
It is.
So that's why she can put on a really nice face, and so she's quite good about about her personality, about her life, basically.
And very, like, I've known her years and still finding more out about her, because it does take time for them to open up. Nice.
She'll be worthwhile getting to know.
They're really great people.
So Pisces have a gentleness. They are they offer encouragement, and they need it in return, and when we get to the quadruplicities, you'll see there's that other level there that I won't start rabbiting on about it now.
I think Pisces are just so gentle, and they're very kind.
Well, they've got that Jupiter planet that rules them as well, so you've got to think on that line of spiritual, religious, learning. They're flexible, they're always on the move, they're often doing something, so they're hard to sort of lock down.
I've heard them being described as sort of like the ocean. Out of all the waters, they're the most like the ocean, which I think is a good way to describe them, because they do change. They're changeable, like the waves can, but they're so big. Like it's a lot to, you can't really summarize their essence clearly, because there can be so many different things and move into different channels. But they can kind of be very immersive and
well, I would like if it was a Pisces rising, like myself, it would really depend on what Jupiter's doing. So I have a few people in my life with Pisces rising with Jupiter in Capricorn, and
come across a little differently.
So that's a planet in fall, and it's in the 11th house, and the exalted Lord is also Venus in Capricorn. So we've got friendships that are really important to them, and their life is really about fun and having fun. Like I have too. I'm the same, very similar in a lot of ways, because I have my Jupiter in the 5th house, so my life has to be fun and enjoyment, and about my children. We're a little bit different for those Capricorn Jupiters, Pisces.
Like friends.
So their life may not revolve so much about their children, even though, you know, being in an earth sign, there is that kind of family element there. Yeah.
Or just events that pop up around fun could be more to do with
yeah exactly, like group activities sometimes.
It could be more of a theme in their life.
But the two ladies that I do know that have that in their chart, they're very social. You know, they're all often out doing something. They're often facilitators too in different groups, and for some time in their life, you know, so it's not like they're going to be facilitators for the whole life. So because they're also cardinal, you know, getting into quadruplicity a little bit here. You know, they're leaders as well, so they kind of move on, you know, because that's that quick moving acting kind of thing. But anyway, I've gone a little bit too far with that, with the quadruplicity.
But that's it, isn't it? It's the more you start to
delve into the layers,
they really all connect together. It's not, you can't just kind of just look at the elements, because there is so much more to each sign, isn't there?
Exactly. Oh, actually, I did have Angelina Jolie's, you know, chart here, and she's a water rising, so she has got all that emotions and Cancer and family and food, you know, really important to her. But both her lords, the moon and Jupiter, are both in fire signs, you know, and she has Mars up there as well, and so she's been in a lot of action movies.
Yes, that's very true. Career.
And she's also been, I think she's done quite a bit with children, with other people's children as well. Like
helps with, like, I think it's UN rights and things like that to do with children. Yeah, she's a public speaker for those things. I think like an advocate. She definitely has
it's
that
just
part
with
of
that
her
moon
career
up there,
and that's
and
like
being
the
a Cancer.
fighting with the Mars as well, like fighting for it.
Exactly.
And in her, like, in the spotlight, she's had, you know, every time she has a child or adopts a child, it, you know, makes the headlines, and it's a big thing that's discussed about her life is her motherhood and that part, and then I guess also family, and you know.
Well, you know, she's got Mars that makes an aspect to both her lords of her ascendant, right? By conjunction, but the dispositor is in Aries anyway, you know, so she has great intentions to, you know, with what she does, and with having the moon up there in the 10th house, you would expect she'd be the mother to the world, you know, mother to
I think she's
whoever.
being described as that.
Okay.
I think so.
So, you know, because she does have that family orientated side to her, and then she has the fire, so she has that get up and go, you know, I'm doing, let's do, you know, let's act, let's initiate, let's make it happen. So I just thought she was a good one for a little stellium, and
she is
in fire.
Isn't that fascinating to have like two stellium, well, sort of,
well, she's got two planets
influence.
in water. She has 2 planets in an air sign, and in rulership, but although it's retrograded in the 12th house,
and not much.
So why she probably goes quiet too from time to time.
She does, and not much earth. So that's quite interesting as well, isn't it? To think about like what a chart of someone who has a lot of fire, water. And you know,
well, I suppose modern astrologers would go say something like, you know, maybe you should you know, get in the garden and, you know, try to find that earth side to your personality. You know, it's harder. That sort of advice? I think you are who you are. You know, she is a woman of action and making things happen and traveling.
I agree with what you're saying, because
you know, career.
I don't have a lot of earth in my sign, and I don't do gardening, and I don't think I could ever be a gardener like consistently.
All right, so that was our elements episode, and hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Bye for now.